And everything you said was a damn lie. It was a lie.
May I respond,
Madam Chair, with another lie?
What happens when facts collide with political narratives, and someone finally calls it out on the record? Today, a congressional hearing completely derailed after Representative Austin Scott accused Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal of spreading outright falsehoods about medical abuse allegations in his district. The room froze, tempers exploded, and suddenly the real question wasn't healthcare, it was truth. Before we get into this explosive moment, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because this is where we break down what the media won't.
Mr. Scott, do you have any questions?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. And I, too, am very concerned about health care, and I represent the Irwin County Hospital. And there have been a lot of false accusations made by people in this committee today. And I'd just like to ask you, Ms. Jayapal, you've made a lot of statements about things that happened in Irwin County. Can you tell me exactly how many medical procedures were done and what the peer review said about those procedures?
Well, I'd be happy to go back and look at the exact data. I don't have it in front of me, but what I know is that we had proof, including from people who had had those procedures done to them.
No, you didn't.
We did,
You
sir.
did not.
I'm happy to give you all
Why?
the documentation of it. And that facility was appropriately closed down because women were having medical procedures done to them without their knowledge.
Let's talk about what really happened here, because once again, headlines are doing more damage than clarity. This hearing was supposed to focus on healthcare concerns tied to immigration detention facilities. Instead, it turned into a live example of how misinformation spreads when activists enter Congress with a narrative already locked in. Representative Austin Scott, who actually represents the district in question, pushed back hard against claims that women were subjected to unauthorized medical procedures at the Irwin County Detention Facility. And here's the key point the media glosses over.
And they were waking up from those procedures and finding that suddenly they were not able to
There were no
have
medical
children.
procedures done at that facility.
Sir,
There were no
you're-
medical
you're-
procedures done at that facility.
You're incorrect, sir.
They were all done at the Irwin County Hospital. Are you aware that the physician actually won the lawsuit against NBC Universal? There were 2 medical procedures done, 2, both of which were deemed under peer review to be medically necessary. You should check your facts.
I'm happy to go back and do
Yeah,
that,
you
and
should
I'll
check your
provide you
facts,
with
but
the
the bottom line
information
is,
that we had.
You, like the majority of the members of the Progressive, just say whatever you want to. You just say whatever you want to. You defamed a man who is a legal immigrant, by the way, in the United States of America. You went on a tirade about one of the local small-town facilities that I represent, and everything you said was a damn lie. It was a lie.
May I respond,
Madam Chair, with another lie? 2 medical procedures, both seem deemed to be medically necessary under peer review. Madam Chair, I yield the remainder of my time.
The only medical procedures referenced were 2 procedures performed at a local hospital, not a detention center, and both were reviewed by medical peers and determined to be medically necessary. That matters. But instead of acknowledging that distinction, accusations were repeated as if they were proven facts, and that's when Scott had enough. He accused Jayapal of spreading false information, yes. He used strong language, but the frustration wasn't random. He was defending a physician in his community who, according to Scott, was publicly smeared and later won or settled a major lawsuit against NBC Universal after being portrayed as some kind of villain. Think about that for a second.
Madam Chair,
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
I've never quite seen an exchange like that. I
Yeah.
think the gentlelady is entitled to,
Mr. McGovern, I'm going to
all right, thank you.
allow Ms. Jayapal a brief response.
Well, let me just first say that it is inappropriate for you to call a member of Congress a liar, and you should take down your words for that. Secondly, I will say that I'm happy to provide all of the testimony from the individuals who had medical procedures performed on them. And you can judge for yourself. But I do not appreciate, Madam Chair, being called a liar. I don't think that's appropriate in this committee. I demand that the gentleman take down his words.
Madam Chair, I do not object to my words being taken
Mr.
down. I should
Scott,
not have called her a liar.
Mr. Scott, just a moment. Ms. Jayapal, I'm happy for you to present to the committee whatever evidence that you have. You know the rules and regulations. You have 5 days to present that information to us. Now I'm going to recognize Mr. Scott because I believe he wants to say something to
Good.
you.
Good, I appreciate that.
I apologize for calling you a liar. I do believe the things that you said were a lie. I will tell you, Madam Chair, I will ask if I called her a liar. I apologize to the committee, and I will not object to those words being taken down, and I look forward to the presentation of the evidence.
I have a procedural question. Does that count?
Yes, it counts. Yes, it counts. Thank you very much. Ms. Scanlon.
I'd like to yield some time to Mr. McGovern.
Yeah, I don't really think that's good enough, to be
I
honest
don't
with
either.
you. Because basically it's the same, you're saying the same thing. And we have heated exchanges in this committee. And believe me, there are lots of people that come before this committee that, I need to be restrained in my response because they're so over the top. But I don't believe I've heard anybody ever call a witness a liar in this committee before.
Well, I appreciate Mr. Scott taking back his words. If we were on the floor, Ms. Jayapal, that would be sufficient. I have been in the chair when people's words have been taken down, and I understand what happens in that case. I'd like to move on from this situation and recognize Ms. Scanlon for her questions.
I don't even know whether any of our options that we would normally take advantage of on the floor are available to us today, but it's not just calling somebody a liar, it's calling their words a lie. They're both, to me, equally offensive. And I would wish the gentleman would withdraw all of those statements. I think that would be more appropriate. He could disagree with the statements. He could ask for more information. He could say he has other information that contradicts it, and we can then have that debate. But calling somebody a liar or calling what they just said an absolute lie is the same thing. And I think those words should be stricken from the record.
Jayapal argued that settlements don't equal guilt, and that's fair, but it cuts both ways. Allegations don't equal truth either, no matter how many times activist politicians repeat them. This is the bigger issue. Too often, hearings like this become echo chambers where accusations are treated as evidence, and anyone who pushes back is labeled heartless, extreme, or worse.
Thank you, Mr. McGovern. I'll give Mr. Scott does not wish to respond.
Madam Chair,
Oh, you do.
this is my district. It's less than 30 minutes from where I live. The medical procedures, there was peer review done on the medical procedures. They were deemed to be medically necessary. The physician won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against NBC Universal for all of the lies that NBC Universal told about him, and referring to him as a uterus collector, I believe is what they were referring to him as. So
Those were not,
those were not that's not what you said. It was what NBC Universal said. But no medical procedures, no surgical procedures are done at the Irwin County Detention Facility. They were all done at the local hospital.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Scott.
Austin Scott didn't just defend a doctor. He defended due process. He defended facts over feelings. And he reminded everyone watching that local communities pay the price when national politicians play politics with accusations. That's why this moment mattered. Not because voices were raised, but because someone finally refused to let a narrative go unchallenged. If you believe hearings should be about facts, not political theater, hit the like button. If you're tired of media spin and want real breakdowns of what's happening in Washington, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This is where we call it like it is.